What is going on, guys? I am just a little bit sick. That's what I've been dealing with lately, and hopefully it doesn't ruin my voice too much, but that is why I do sound slightly unwell. This type of videos is going to be a little bit different for the channel. I used to occasionally make videos that were a little bit less, you could say, demanding, and it would just be me talking over gameplay. And I'm going to do something sort of similar because I find this topic to be fairly interesting. If you've checked back in my channel, I've tried a few different things with it. I kind of just like to have fun with it, not get super serious about it. But today I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the new YouTube monetization changes. I think that there's a lot of different sides to it, and I think that it is quite interesting. And I mean, more than anything, I do think that there's a lot of nuance to it, and I don't want to kind of like come across as spiteful or angry in any sort of way, because as you can tell, I am not hitting those required numbers for the current monetization. When it comes down to it, though, I think when people engage with YouTube, it's a very goal-driven hobby. You are trying to hit something at a certain point, and I do think that whether you want to admit it or not, anybody who has a YouTube channel is trying to reach monetization and or reach an audience and turn somewhat of a profit, potentially. Now, the way that they go about it, that can demonstrate their passion in different ways. However, with the current setup, YouTube is just 500 subscribers. The upload number for videos is goofy, and then it's different between shorts and watch hours, but you need 3,000 for watch hours, and for shorts it's 3 million views, which is totally different, and it's just dependent on what you're trying to do. I don't personally dabble in shorts because I don't want to sort of be infecting my brain with that sort of a deal. But what it comes down to is, I believe it's next year, maybe in February, I can't really remember, they are changing it to double the amount of subscribers required to 1,000, and they are also changing the public watch hours and adding 5,000, which is, it's quite a bit, you could say. And I'm not even going to mention the shorts, and I do think that a big part of that is because of the AI. I think that other people have mentioned this. AI has become a very big problem on YouTube because of just the slopification of long form content. And I mean, I will say, I do think that long form content is a farm to a degree. It doesn't take the most effort on the planet, and it's not the most classical way of doing YouTube, I think. In my brain, I think of the daily grind. You got Pyrocynical, PewDiePie, Slop Live, or even Moist Critical still. Like, these people, they do it every day, and it's just a grind. And that can be a slog, but there's, to some degree, a huge passion in that. And I'm personally not super built for that, and I'm trying to figure out my own balance with YouTube and sort of to keep things producing at the same time, because I've watched myself improve vastly. But my biggest kind of the hard part for me is just sticking with it and being consistent with my output, because there were days where I'd rip 3 videos consecutively, and then all of a sudden I'm like burnt for 5 days, and it's hard to get around to. And I think that partially people are going to be spiteful towards this, especially people who haven't hit the current goal or are about to hit the current goal, which I think I saw somebody else the other day who was kind of like trying to defend it heavily, and he was talking about how it's not that bad, but he was at 490 subscribers, and I'm pretty sure he was hitting the total watch hour goal. And I kind of thought that was goofy. It seemed like a little bit of, I guess, out of touch, especially for where he's at, but because he's going to hit it before February, there's no problem with that. But I do kind of see where people are getting at, where they're frustrated, and then bigger people are empathizing with the people that are frustrated, because they do to a degree understand and have grinded through that, unless you struck virality at some point. But I don't think that it's the worst thing for the platform. I personally, while yes, a person who produces content onto YouTube, and I have fun with that, I also consume YouTube, and I really enjoy doing that. I enjoy the you portion of YouTube, and I do think that is incredibly important, and YouTube is trying to, I think, maintain that. Now, while yes, that has in a lot of ways completely left YouTube, the you part, where you have the business side of it becoming huge, YouTube is trying to keep it from just being a cesspool of slop, of AI that is just farming the You could say video essay, long form content, gold mine that you can just rip money from. And I'm actually going to say this. I don't think it's the worst thing ever. I think that a channel that is gaining traction is able to hit 1,000 subscribers and 8,000 public watch hours. I don't think that is an impossible feat, and I think that it's completely reasonable for YouTube to expect that from creators. I think it would be absurd if they suddenly made it 10,000 or something up there where it's like 10,000 is a tenth of 100,000, and that is a play button right there. That is actual success on YouTube. You look at a person with 100,000, you see momentum. You see sort of like that. What's it called? The brand of recognition and or worth, I think, when it comes to like the actual content, not the person themselves. I don't think that your number necessarily makes you more of a person worth something. But I don't know. I think that there's a ton of nuance with it, and people need to acknowledge that more. I do find it to be a little bit disheartening partially. Like, I have made, I think I'm at 58 videos, and as you can tell, I look at that, and I've watched as like it's kind of like a numbers thing. Like, you do get into it a little bit, and it's a repetitions game as well. I think, like, I have watched myself improve between videos, and I've watched people latch on to certain concepts or ideas, especially around Dark Souls, more than others, and I think that that's awesome. And I mean, it's one of those things that it's just YouTube is something that so many people can do differently, and I think that that is what needs to be kept. But I don't like the sort of slopification. I think that YouTube trying to get rid of this is a good idea. Is it going to be frustrating for people? Yes, especially if, say, you grind it out 1,000 videos and you just barely are about to hit 500, and it hits February and you're out of it. But at the same time, if you're actually like doing things correctly and evolving the content as you go, and you are gaining the momentum and people are latching onto what you're kind of doing, then you'll hit 1,000 easily. It's just going to take a little bit longer. Is it going to take double the time? No, I don't believe that. I think that if somebody hits 500, it gets easier to hit 1,000. I think that when somebody hits 1,000, it's easier to hit 10,000. I think of the person that comes to mind was Chazington for me. I remember I came across his channel when he was at, I think it was 299,000. In my brain, that's a huge number, right? But I found the channel, and I hadn't dabbled in something, I guess, that, I don't want to call him niche, but it's a little bit like, it's a personality-driven YouTube channel. He does content on old YouTubers or people that are iconic in animation spaces, and I came across him at 299, and I was coming across all sorts of videos, and it was just his personality that had me kind of like, I guess, addicted to the videos. I grinded through like most all of them, and I still enjoy his videos as he plugs them out. But I've watched as he's now gone up to, I think it's about 400 right now, and it's a momentum game. I think that the more that you put in, the returns just continue to get bigger, and I'm sure everybody has said that already. But I think that these numbers, like, at the end of the day, it's not going to change the most for the people who are actually going to try. Do I think it's going to affect the slop channels, like the video essays that are just AI generated? I don't know. I have a fear that it won't do much, because those channels are able to hit 1,000. I've seen them with 100,000, 50,000, and it's kind of like, oh, as I'm watching the video, suddenly I'm realizing this is just a robot speaking to me. I am suddenly turned off. I don't feel the human nature to it that is inherently enjoyable. The breathing, the mistakes, the charismatic language, it's simply background noise of, I guess, distributing information in your brain, sort of like a little drip of dopamine. And I think it's kind of just crap. But I don't know, what are your guys' thoughts? I'm sorry, this video is a little bit different. I'm going to probably put up some sort of footage. Honestly, it might be, oh shit, what's Dying Light? That's just nostalgic from a YouTube perspective for me. But yeah, feel free to like the video if you liked it. Let me know your thoughts as well. And yeah, I am still working on the Dark Souls 2 map rankings video. I have been procrastinating and I'm a piece of shit, so feel free to tell me in the comments. But yeah, I'll see you.